Construction champions, it's your host, Ron Nussbaum, and we're here for another amazing show. Every Monday and Thursday, we are bringing you the Construction Champions podcast, where we're burning down the house. Not your house you're living in, not the house of that upset customer that you have, but your business and your mindset around it. We're burning it down and we're changing it. I have another amazing guest here with us today. Royer, it is great to have you on the show.
Hey, thank you.
Why don't you take some time and tell the construction champions out there a little bit about yourself and what got you here to today?
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate the opportunity. My name is Royal Mortier. I'm the founder of Pliris and Pliris Plans. And basically, my whole life has been around construction. My dad was in construction, and then he, after a long time in construction, left and became a building inspector, and now he's a building official. My grandpa was an engineer and developer, and so that's kind of what I was raised around. I started in construction at 15 doing concrete and worked my way up through the different trades, and from being everything from doing concrete to just site cleanup, siding, exteriors, and I worked on a framing crew for a bit, did some finished carpentry for a while, and then had an owner developer that needed a superintendent, and I came on with him for a bit and managed a small development for him, and then decided I wanted to go back to school and become an engineer, and so that's what I did. During that time, I had fixed and flipped a couple houses, and so I had a nice little nest egg, and used that nest egg to pay for school, and got my degree in engineering in '09, which was a horrible time to be graduating with anything construction related. But luckily, I had served in the Army Reserves for 6 years, and so when I got out, I had an opportunity to basically get some preference to go to work for the military. So that's what I did, and managed construction all over the U.S. Consulted on projects and reviewed stuff on projects all around the world, and it was a cool experience. And then went to work for a contractor that had started to get into government contracts and worked with them for a bit. And then I actually had an opportunity to get on with the engineering firm that my grandfather had founded back in the '70s. And so that was a cool opportunity. So I went on with them, and really just, whether it was family pride or whatever it was, I just went in and I gave it my all, and worked my way up pretty quickly to being a leader within that company. And from being a home builder, or working for a home builder, and working on homes, and then also from the design side, I just really saw that home builders were very underserved by the engineering community. You had engineers that just kind of took on homes just to take them on, and really didn't understand the simplicity of a home, or how to really streamline a home design and the engineering on it. Or you had a lot of jurisdictions really beating up home builders with their plans. And so I kind of made it a personal mission to really go after that type of client and focus on that. And so Pliris's focus is home builders. And then Pliris Plans, we partner with house designers, and so we actually provide all those plans 100% permit ready. So we have a website that we market them on, or the house plan websites will send their clients purchase plans to us, and then we take them and get them to being permit ready. And so it's served me pretty well. And then, for our home builders on our Pliris side of the company, they are able to access, or they can take from our library that we have, with our Pliris plans and add those plans to their offering library. Or, we work with developers and get a small library of plans together that they can offer on, their individual developments. So it works out. It's a very versatile business, and again, our focus is home builders, and that all comes from the experience and frankly the bad experience of being a prior home builder and seeing how they were served and wanting to make it better.
Awesome, man. I love it. I know you're doing a lot of amazing things out there. And I'm always excited when I have somebody on the show that, cut their teeth in the industry. It's been around it because you have not just industry knowledge, but you have a lifetime of experience to base what you're doing off of, as well as to answer a $1 million question. And I'm going to dive right in there and ask that. And that is, what makes a construction champion?
Yeah, so well, I wasn't expecting that question. I guess I should have, knowing your podcast, right? um, and this is uh, one of the things is as you know, because you and I know each other somewhat personally, and you call them, I trained jujitsu, and I was a wrestler before, and the thing with wrestling and the thing with jujitsu, that the guys that are the champions are the ones that really dedicate themselves to the craft, put in the work, and find a way to win no matter what. And that comes with the two big R's: resilience and resourcefulness. And construction is an industry that's constantly up and down. I think we've all sat in our cars and complained about all the road construction going on and driving up. You're driving down a 2-lane highway. I used to live in Oregon, and going over to the Oregon coast, always under construction. There's always somebody with a stop sign, a flagger with a stop sign, and you're just going to sit there for 20 minutes and just be upset about it, right? You just want to get to the coast and enjoy yourselves. And so it's one of those things that's a necessary thing, and people always, or unfortunately, we're always on the complaining end of the discussion. But when we get it done and we make something happen, we make something beautiful, that's what makes us, that's what sets us apart. And that's really, if you're resilient and resourceful in construction, you're going to be a construction champion. And with myself individually, I've gotten kicked in the teeth quite a few times, figuratively and literally. So but I've always found a way to win, and that no quit mentality, that resourcefulness, that resilience that I've basically been developed through getting kicked in the teeth, through getting myself in tough situations, whether that's voluntary or involuntary, is what is going to always set myself apart. I'm going to find a way to win. I'm going to find a way for our clients to win.
I love that because that's so true, and that it's so true to the construction industry. But I feel like there's a disconnect when like we're very resourceful, we're very resilient when it comes to the actual project. But a lot of times when it comes to the business aspect of it, for some reason that shit just goes out the window. And that's something that needs to change within the industry.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that you mentioned that. Literally right now, I was just talking with my brother. He's in construction as well, and he just, over the last couple of months, he got moved from. He's 5 years older than me, and I won't mention how old I am, but I'm up there. And he's been in the field. He's literally been in the field doing the physical labor for multiple decades, and he's always been looked up in the field as the guy that knew it all and was the highly knowledgeable one. And now he's just now getting moved into an office position. And I was talking with him yesterday, and I'm like, how's it going? And this is a whole different side of the world. He's like, he goes, I'm basically having to relearn everything, because I'm now having to learn the business side of this versus just the doing the work side of it.
Mm.
And that's an interesting part of it. We've helped a lot of builders that, I know you have too, and a lot of our acquaintances have, where they're the builder that are like, I'm doing, one or two houses a year, or maybe they're doing 6 houses a year, and they have no free time. And they're trying to grow their business, but they can't let go of the tool belt. Yeah. And that's the most frustrating thing when we see it, because it took me a long time to get away from being the one doing the work to then teaching the other people and running the business. But if I hadn't had that knowledge of being in the field, being in the trenches, wearing the tool belt, I wouldn't be able to properly know what my team needs and what our contractors need from my office, right?
Mm.
And it's a big difficulty. I've got a lot of builders that they've unfortunately stunted themselves because they won't put down the tool belt.
Yeah, and so how you did an amazing job of making that transition. Like you said, we kind of personally know each other, so I've watched you do that, and you've done an amazing job of being able to just become the owner, the business side of things. And what would you say you credit that to being able to just go do that and understand, like, this is what's going to be best for me, my business, and my family. This is what I need to go do, and was able to let go of the tool belt and just step into who you really are. And that's just the leader.
I made it a goal, I made it my mission. And when I was with my prior firm, that's when I came up with the idea of Pliris. And Pliris was supposed to be a subsidiary of my prior firm. That was how we originally set it up. It was essentially, my prior firm there was this push from some of the other leadership. They wanted to really focus on large commercial projects. And I was like, well, we can't, that's fine, but we're not going to neglect what has basically become the backbone of our clientele, which are these home builders. And we also serviced a couple larger specialty contractors. So we're doing stuff with like carbon fiber and deep pile systems and other stuff like that. Now that had become our backbone. I mean, that was the majority of the work that we were doing. And we basically had people that were like, we don't care about that. We want to go work on the big warehouses and the auto malls and the other stuff like that. And so I was like, okay, well, what if we create an entire separate company that just focuses on these clients? And because the commercial stuff, you have to have more engineering experience, you have to have more drafting experience, there's more stuff required to it. So we can start this other company, and then when we hire people right from college, or get interns, they come to work for this company, and we kind of train them on the nuances and the specialty and all the stuff, because these are smaller projects. We can work through it in more detail. They don't have to try and imagine how this big, vast 400,000 square foot building is going to go together. They can go, okay, how is this 2,000 square foot home going to go together? And that was the idea behind Pliris. And and then it was basically, I made that my mission. And then it didn't work out to be a subsidiary. Me and my prior firm parted ways, and I got Pliris, and then I made my mission that became my mission to not just be the everyday person of Pliris, but to have a life. Because I managed large construction. When I was with the Department of Defense, I was in hotels 240 plus days a year. Managing large construction with a government contractor. I was constantly traveling, and it's not feasible to have a family and do that. So I knew if I was going to get to the point of being able to have a balance of life where I get to be a father, I get to be a husband, I get to have a company, and I get to explore the world and do the things that I want to do. I had to get to a point to separate myself from being the person that does the day to day and become an owner, to where I have people that I work to create the infrastructure, they execute the work to service the clients that we serve.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, and that's so important to make that your mission, because I say it on here all the time. Is like guys get lost on what, like, why they started the company. What was that dream? What was that mission to begin with? And get so in the weeds that they lose sight of that, and then they're everything to everybody, and that's impossible. That's when everything starts to combust, and that's not how you build a championship team. That's not how you become a champion.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things I talk about with my team is, there was I remember it was an example that one of my professors gave me in college. Uh, there was this guy at the prior firm I worked at, and Chuck had been there at the firm for 30 plus years. And he goes, you could look at the carpet and there was a line worn in the carpet of all the other junior engineers walking to Chuck's office to ask Chuck, what should I use here? What should I do here? What should I do there? And they left there knowing what to do on this project, but then the very next project, they'd be right back in Chuck's office asking what to do. Well, the point is to not be a Chuck, to
Mm.
be somebody that goes, this is what you're going to use here, and this is why. And here, I've actually put this SOP or this checklist, or I've recorded this video, or I've done this, to where now you have this reference to go to. And unless there's some funky nuance where you can't figure this out, then you'll come to me. But now you know how to figure this problem out. And then, oh, now you got this problem. Well, that's this checklist, that's this SOP, that's this video. And that's a big thing we've been doing with Pliris is, I mean, we have an expansive video library, we have a very large SOP process, we have tons of resources that has allowed us to, now we're hiring people all over the world because we're a 100% remote company. That's allowed us to basically do that and execute effectively and efficiently, because I don't have to monitor over every process that goes through. And it's funny, I called out on a project earlier today. I said, hey, on this, I want you guys to be doing this. And one of my engineers goes, okay, and he sent me a snapshot of the protocol for that project, for that exact process, and went, so do you want us to change the protocol? And I just looked at it and I went, never mind, carry on. Like, so it was, and I appreciated that. You went, hey, here's the exact protocol that you have said for us to follow, and it's even in writing. Do you want us to change the protocol? Like, no, actually, here, keep doing what you're doing. Forget I said anything. And I appreciated him having the confidence to call me out on it, and that was great.
Well, it's not necessarily the confidence to call you out. It's just like you have built a business that you have the systems, you have the protocols, and you have the kind of culture that when you're talking about doing something different, it's not being a Chuck. They want to know, is this how we're going to do it on everything going forward, or is this an anomaly? And that speaks tones to the culture that you built, that they're now proactively thinking, we'll get this changed so you don't even have to change it if it's going to be changed, which that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, yeah, it's taken time, but I mean, really now we've got it down. We've got it down to a science. I mean, we're going to do a few thousand houses this year, um, which, I mean, 2 years ago, I think we did right around 500. So, um, now we're going to do a few thousand across over 20 states. So, I mean, it's a big, it's a big leap in a short amount of time, but those protocols and processes and me being able to step away to run the company is the only reason that's there.
Absolutely. What do you use? You brought up videos for guys. What are you using to help your guys out in the just I mean, you have employees all over the world, you said. So what systems are you using to be able to do that for them?
Yes, we for our project management, we developed our own. I'd say we developed our own. We use the foundation of HubSpot. We progressively grew. So the first year in business, we literally just had a spreadsheet, and then I knew we needed something bigger, and so we developed something. One of our builders that we worked with, he was loved using Monday.com. So we developed something with Monday. And then we really just kind of maxed out Monday's abilities after about a year. And so we sat down and we literally analyzed 20 different PM programs and came up with HubSpot. And what was nice, HubSpot has open coding. So we literally coded all of our own stuff to do exactly what we needed to do. And that's been a backbone for us there to manage our projects. And it also allows all of our clients to see exactly where their project is throughout the process and communicate directly with who's working on it. Streamlined submission. They punch in the project information, drag and drop the files, hit submit, and it's automatically in our lineup. So there's no more complaint with one of how I said, home builders weren't served well. The firm I was at before, I mean, an intake of a project could take 2 to 4 hours, 2 to 4 man hours. Now it's seconds. It's literally seconds. Everything's automated, electronic, click and go. And then for video, Loom has served greatly, has been a great resource. It's got tons of stuff for us to set up full libraries. We can share specific libraries with specific team members. We also use Loom for giving our clients like project updates, or sending them like a fun message about their build. We even work with people that are building their own homes, and so we're able to check in with them regularly. And then when we know when their home is done, I'll record a personalized video and send it to them, just congratulating them on getting their home build done. And it's been a great tool. So yeah, HubSpot for our PM, Loom for our videos, and then everything else is a cloud-based server system. So.
Awesome. I love that how we're going from spreadsheets to Monday.com to HubSpot. Like that's the transition. That's how it happens. And I think a lot of times people think you go from nothing to the complete, like going from nothing to HubSpot. And there's a huge learning curve when it comes to that kind of stuff, and just naturally progressing and figuring out like we understand this software. Now we're ready for what's the next thing, and then moving into HubSpot where it's completely, like you said, customizable. You can build that code right in there and you start to build what you truly want. And I don't think people understand what they truly want when they're still working in its spreadsheets. As you continue to grow, you start to create that checkbox.
Yeah, and then the other side of it is people starting out think that they need that big, expensive, fancy software too. And you can start with something very, very basic. And there's lots of different software out there that serves tons of needs. I know you have a great one for communication, project communication that is a huge issue with all builders and their clients. And then that's a nice thing, like with us, with our HubSpot system, the PM system, every project has what I call a tile, and then has a vision board. So you click on the tile, and the tile is where it's at in the project or where it's at in the process, and then you click on it, and brings up its basically vision board, its project board, which has everything about the project at quick access. And then all of the emails literally track So anytime an email goes back and forth about that project, it tracks it. So it doesn't matter whether it's myself or one of my international team members emailing the client, it all centralizes right there. So there's never a situation of, well, I emailed this person and well, I didn't get that. Like there's none of that, right? We're able to track all communications in that aspect, which is huge. Communication on all projects are that way. And we can also literally do video calls and track notes and everything right through that PM portal as well, and it all records it. So that works. It's a very, but somebody starting out doesn't need that complex of a system. They don't need it that advanced of a system. Uh, when we launched, I mean, I said it, I parted ways with my prior firm 2 weeks before the COVID lockdown started. Like, and it was like, all right, well, now what do I do? And I mean, by the time the COVID lockdown started, Pliris was up and running and serving clients.
Mm-hmm.
And, it took us 6 months to develop HubSpot and cost me over $250,000. As a startup, there's no way I would have thrown that money at that, or, but there are people that do that. They think they need it. They want that big shiny toy right at the very beginning. You don't need it. And now,
Well, yeah, and a lot of times you spend $250,000 building what you don't even know you need.
right.
Like you have to go through some of that stuff to understand what exactly it is that you need. And I mean, I watch it all the time. I think there's a lot of great things out there. There's a lot of great softwares, and I'm a component of everything is not a fit for everybody. You have to figure out what works best for your company and start to scale that and make those decisions as you continue to grow. So, uh, man, it has been awesome having you on the show here today. For all the construction champions out there, if they wanted to follow you, connect with you, learn more about what you do, where's the best places for them to do that?
Yeah, we're on Facebook and Instagram, Pliris or Pliris Plans. Either of those come up. And just so people are aware, Pliris isn't some made up word. It's Greek and it means complete. So that goes right along with our motto, which is complete plans, period. So so Pliris is Pliris. And then if you want to get in touch with us, you can just check out our website at pliris.co and connect with us there. And all my contact information is on our website, and would love to chat with you.
Awesome, man. Well, once again, thank you for being on the show today. It has been a lot of knowledge for the guys out there listening. So, construction champions, another episode in the bag. And for me, I mean, the look in the mirror moment, don't be a Chuck. Like, what is, I guarantee you, you have somebody, if not your entire business, you have somebody that's coming to you all the time. Don't be a Chuck. Don't give them an easy runway. Like, the easier path you create to you or to your office or to wherever, your phone. I mean, I've had a guy telling me how he's got 150 people that work for him and his phone, they all have his number and his phone won't stop ringing. And I said, well, you might have 150 people in your company, but they should all not work for you. I mean, at the end of the day, they do, but that's not how this works if you're building a company how you should. So, like, that's the ultimate, Chuck. 150 people all day long, phone just blowing up. I mean, that's not how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to.
Yeah, well, I mentioned I served for a bit. We run a squad model. So, the military has invested trillions of dollars into leadership research. You're not going to be able to reinvent and create something better than what the military structure is. So we run a squad model. And so how that squad is set up for us is we have a client coordinator. That is the number one contact for that client. And then we have the United States broken up into regions. So we just use what the National Association of Home Builders region structure is. So the US is 15 regions. So each squad gets a region. So we have a client coordinator. That's the primary contact for the client that feeds everything into our process. And then we got an engineering team and a drafting team. And there's an engineering team lead and a drafting team lead. I only really talk to the team leads and the client coordinator. And then as I get bigger, guess what? I'm going to have a platoon leader. Then guess who I'm going to talk to? The platoon leader. Like that's like, you have to have those accountability people at the lower level and pull yourself away.
Absolutely. I was in the Marine Corps, and I would agree 100%, is they've invested a lot of money in small team and large team leadership. And it's how I built a business before, is like just what you said, is you pretty much just start breaking it down into fire teams, up to squads, to platoons, and you just continue to build. So awesome stuff, man. Awesome stuff. All right, construction champions, make sure you go check out our website, follow, possibly share. I would share, but I'm not going to ask you to do too much. Just follow us if you don't. And until next time, be the champion you were meant to be. Hey, construction champions. It's your host, Ron Nussbaum here. And I want to talk to you about how you can automate all of your marketing. We've had so many people on here talk about getting the systems in place. Well, we have partnered with Build 12 and Construction Champions podcast. Les O'Hara, the founder, what really excites me is his 30 years in the industry. And now he's built a system to be able to nurture your leads and continue to utilize that. I personally use the system myself. Build 12 is absolutely amazing. There's a lot of value in there, and it's a way to start getting away from Angie's List and all of that kind of stuff and start actually creating your own leads every day and have a system for them. So go on our website, check out the show notes, go check out Build 12 and what it can do for the front end of your business today. It's absolutely amazing. I highly recommend going and meeting with Les and his son, Devin, and talking to him about what they built for their own business so the rest of the industry can take benefit from that. Here on Construction Champions, we're all about helping each other out. And what is better than contractors helping contractors? I say nothing. So let's go take this to the next level. Go check out Build 12. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or Les or his son, Devin. We're here to help. We want to continue to grow the industry.